Hi there, my name is Christopher Bridge, and for my inquiry project I have decided to explore socialization in a school-based video game, and I've attempted to see if Minecraft specifically could offer a safe space for all students to feel welcome and connected socially, while also including opportunities for collaboration and personal agency within an open world environment. Part of this came because of the recent resurgence in Minecraft's popularity. Many of the students that I'm teaching are playing the game passively on their phones or laptops, and several have already expressed curiosity if our gaming club out of the school would be offering it in the future. Given what we've been learning in OLTD 508, I thought this would be a fantastic opportunity to explore Minecraft in relation to good pedagogy and to see if we could create a school-wide opportunity for competition, cooperation, and a space to develop social skills within that world. Furthermore, I've been deeply interested in trying to teach English via video games, as I've often credited video gaming as a reason why I became an English major in the first place. I was really encouraged by listening to James Paul Gee's Principles of Good Learning and seeing distinctly how there's significant overlap between established, meaningful practices in good education and good game design and good video games. So I know I wanted to design larger lessons in different gaming engines like Minecraft, but I also felt that my own technical skills were lacking. If it took me 50 hours to build a simulation in Minecraft normally, and I'd only get about a week's worth of lessons out of it, I considered that to be a far too steep time investment for where I'm at in my career, and a faster approach would have been extremely helpful in getting this ball rolling. This project then, in addition to its pursuit in creating a refined or social space for each students to accomplish and learn within, it also serves me as an opportunity to practice and build my own practical skills in creating Minecraft worlds for curriculum outcomes. Tools such as World Edit and MC Edit would be necessary in order to hasten the usual speed of Minecraft creations and to make for a lessened workload before bringing Minecraft into my instruction pieces specifically. We are also going to be using Minecraft Education, which has a coding simulator built into the game itself, and I've only had a little bit of time to tinker and practice with that, but honestly, I have had so many excuses not to learn coding that I'm actually going to be spending my upcoming Pro D playing Minecraft to learn how to do basic logic coding. Because I also feel that this is a great entry point, great stable approach to learning these skills and bringing video gaming into active practice. So, before I begin thoroughly, I just wanted to say two things. One, on a very serious note, I did not follow through with making this project adhere entirely to Gee's Principles of Learning. I felt that Minecraft as a game itself has certain properties, certain enablers, certain restrictions that really isolate how much ability, how much agency I have in order to provide extra opportunities to provide to meet Gee's ideas of information on demand or just in time, or how I could revolutionize Minecraft to be a better sandbox or fish tank. I didn't really feel that this was something that I could necessarily accomplish, and I didn't really feel that it was imperative for me to reinvent the wheel on this one. So I did not. I focused much more on the other principles of learning that I feel that Minecraft has, but maybe they're not leveraged wholly how I would want that to happen. So a lot of what I've actually done is make the existing game emphasize features of Gee's Principles of Learning in relation to my imagination of what a hodgepodge group of students, varying social skills and interests, will be participating in this Minecraft world. Sorry, those llamas are driving me nuts. Okay, so second, on a lighter and half joking, but also half not really joking, the amount of time this took was insane. Like, I'm not talking like, wow, I did not see that playing Minecraft and building a world would be time-consuming, like levels of naivety, but more the learning process and the tools and trying to undo the learning of Minecraft I already had was incredible for sinking away the hours. I honestly had a lot of fun, but I also have a lot of fun complaining, and that really sucked. So learning these tools made me feel like really old, like 80-year-old who doesn't know how their TV remote works levels of old. And I'd find myself slipping into standard Minecraft practice placing blocks to fill in like a gap and then being like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be doing like slash slash that stone in order to fill this, so I'm actually learning the commands. And what I observed or what I felt was every time I do this command, like the actual time it took was significantly shorter, but it sure didn't feel like it. It actually felt like I was putting in way more effort and energy, and it felt more time consuming than just placing those blocks, which is a little bit more mindless. So that was an interesting thing, and I'm still working on making sure that I'm proficient with this. I think that I'm very much a beginner in my copying and pasting and using all of these world edit tools. I've also made like many mistakes that were just incredibly time consuming. I accidentally flooded the world with water, and trying to get that out of like stair blocks didn't work well. They started producing water. It was like I had little waterfalls everywhere. It was brutal. And I also dumped like 3 blocks of sand on top of like a square 1,000 block radius. So now I have random trees that are like spouting sand out. Students are going to be really, really weirded out when they see this world, I think. That's fine. All right, my rant's over. Walkthrough time. I started this project actually asking my coworkers and a handful of what I considered to be strong or mature students when I considered their social skills about what their thoughts and feelings were on gaming in relation to social skill building. The coworkers that did respond had really reasonable answers, and I was really surprised and impressed overall. By the way, they spoke about gaming as a great tool for learning and one that's also very hard to monitor, which is of course true. And all of them acknowledged that there was a lot of potential and a lot of meaningful connections that could be drawn out. Just very challenging to do so. I don't know if it's fair to call it like cutting edge because it's been around for long enough, but it's very much in its infancy of like tapping that power and really using it. So I thought that was very interesting. The students that I spoke to shared similar concerns that I had when I imagined myself being them and trying to play this world. The primary ones that were problematic were griefing and specifically unwanted killing or destruction. There were priorities to address, and most voted in favor of contracts before students were allowed to play, and banning students with absolutely no wiggle room that were caught griefing others. I agree overall, but I also felt that a player versus player element offers a lot of opportunities for Guy's principles of learning to take root, and I didn't want to lose that, as I feel that is part of the Minecraft experience. Having a competitive element creates an end game for experienced users to strive towards. So PvP is hugely popular, and it's one of the main reasons that a lot of very popular video games have not died. It's because there's something to do. There's a metagame. There's an engagement to be had that is creative and unique and very player driven. Players create the challenge because they are the challenge. It promotes a lot of empowerment through allowing customizing strategy. It allows expression of skills and strategies, cycles of expertise, and identity in how a person chooses to fight, and is innately pleasantly frustrating. The problem was not with it existing in Minecraft, but more in relation to how a socially weak student that doesn't yet understand the difference between pro-social PvP and unwanted griefing would interact with the possibility of PvP. And that was something that I set out to really address and focus on within this world. So this distinction and separation are primarily, like I just said, why I tried to create this Minecraft world to begin with. It's important, I feel, to allow players the agency over their own play style, and not everyone is motivated or draws the same skill value from PvP, and Minecraft offers a lot of creative player versus environment problems that are pleasantly frustrating, provide understanding through system thinking, and allow for manipulation of an open game world. So having a space for these players to not become unpleasantly frustrated was equally important to me. What I designed then, as you can see, is a map that features a protected walled zone where no PvP, no griefing, and other unsocial behavior will be permitted. if a player decides to reside within these walls, they're given a space that is protected, customizable, but is designed to bring with it a host of other well-ordered problems that I feel should be pleasantly frustrating and demand creative skills that are used as strategies to maximize the challenge students would face within the space. And to do this, I borrowed something that I remember hearing about when I was playing Minecraft for the first few times. There was something called the One Chunk Challenge. The One Chunk Challenge limited participating players to build only within a 16 by 16 square space horizontally. You could build up and down up into the actual limits, but Minecraft actually loads its maps based on these chunks, these 16 by 16 square loading things. And therefore, if you found the boundary for a chunk, your house wouldn't load unless all of it loaded. You wouldn't have any of these weird glitches to it, which was kind of a fun challenge, because even though 16 squares looks like it is quite a bit, and it is, if you're trying to build a really, really fancy home, it's actually quite tiny. It creates real limitations. So I created 29 of these chunks that are available for students that are interested in being protected from PvP. I felt this would be an excellent reflection of these principles and would offer a lot of pleasant frustration in its limiting size, creating a small fish tank in design limitations and restrictions, and it would allow students to use their Minecraft skills for skills of strategy, personal identity, as well as system thinking. To accomplish this, I set out arbitrary 16 by 16 lots for sale within the protected zone itself. These spots create a small castle town, and any player can claim one as their personal zone to work within. When there's more than 29 students, we simply will expand the borders, and students will have the responsibility of setting out what those borders are supposed to look like. The catch, in my eyes, is that this is a highly concentrated player area. It's safe in the early game as minimal monsters can spawn due to all the lighting that I've currently placed down, and players are likely to be in high proximity to one another, which means competitions naturally will arise. Someone with a lot of creativity and a lot of prowess in Minecraft will likely make a very beautiful or unorthodox house using a lot of in-game principles and tips and tricks, so to speak, where newer players can see, learn, and steal those same strategies and ideas. I think this plays off of the Vygotsky and zone of proximal developments to help students create their own identity, to use and learn Minecraft skills for creative strategy, and to begin the process of co-design and system thinking by recognizing that their creation is a physical part of an immediate, high player concentrated community, or rather, a larger system that they can provide and influence the meaning of. Highly experiential, highly focused around creative play. In addition, I've created what I am lazily calling a communal region. There's random foundations that I set on one of the lower areas within the town, and the goal here is for players to collaboratively construct farms and buildings for the community's benefit. I expect to expand on the aforementioned principles, but with the additional benefit of pushing for greater student challenge, as limited space and required functionality to a community are really strong examples of system thinking and meaning as action, in which a student creating something like a library for enchantments or an automated farm for newer players is doing so on the understanding that it's for others' benefits too. And I call that a win for pro-social behavior. I've left the majority of the outside world untouched. I have only lightly influenced it, especially with the sand, as you can kind of see in the left corner here, unfortunately. I have created a couple aesthetic pieces that I thought would be interesting and give a reason to actually stay within this community. But other than that, everything outside of these walls is designed to be no man's land. It's designed to be your basic vanilla Minecraft, where you have control and you know how things work, and it's highly open for players. My goal here is also to encourage players within the city boundary to have an excuse to still participate in a natural Minecraft world, not one that I have heavily edited and influenced. Mining within the town itself is really not going to be easy because players are going to have to interfere, like realistically, with the vertical spacing between these lots, and so therefore the only real opportunity for mining they're going to get is to leave the city walls and try to mine out here. This gives players access to the genuine Minecraft gameplay, which really is what they'd be coming to this club to get in the first place. And outside these castle walls, I can't, and I choose not to, guarantee any protection from griefing, other than if students want to wear a white cape indicating that they're a non-combatant. I will defend the fact that they should be protected and not attacked. Beyond that, if players really want to enjoy a true survival base, they now get the additional challenge of contending with people trying to find them or fighting them outside of these castle walls. Anyone who chooses to build out here knows the risk. They understand that their base is not protected by any school staff or teacher or anything like this, and it's a much more hardcore opportunity for them to do the survival part of this game. This no man's land should be rich with skills and strategy opportunities and should be pleasantly frustrating in terms of its gameplay, as the theme here would probably be to either find a very create a very defensible survival home, or to hide and protect one's base and resources very effectively using the game design principles. And finally, I have created a space for those who are genuinely interested in PvP exclusively. As I already mentioned before, I do strongly feel that a lot of popular video games are popular simply because they are extremely PvP oriented, and that creates a lot of well-ordered problems. It creates a lot of opportunities to use skills and creativity and identity and pieces like that. So I wanted to make sure that students that are coming to the Minecraft world to get something to that capacity, to get something out of the experience in a PvP setting, and turn it into a pro-social activity overall. So within the town, there's this small hut and a command block, which honestly took me way too long to figure out how to actually use for how simple it turned out to be. Any player that steps on this pressure plate will be teleported to an artificially created battle arena, which is rife with not only hiding places, but destructible blocks and the threat of falling and wasting your own time. But it also comes with regular Minecraft threats to distract and influence enemy strategy. So if you happen to fall off the island, good luck coming back. It's going to take a really long time, which is its own natural, as you can see, somebody already fell. It's its own natural consequence. Like, this is a time waster. This is very standard in like Mario and Rayman video games, but it comes with additional challenges. It is built within the clouds to obscure vision. These cloud blocks, while semi-translucent, really do interfere with your ability to see parts of the map, as you can see, which adds an extra degree of strategy and planning that goes into any combat that will take place within this gigantic floating area. This area is also extremely deliberately poorly lit. There is no torches, there's no light here other than the lava blocks themselves, and this is to create an opportunity for monsters to spawn, which add an extra degree of threat to the players that are interested in doing PvP, and especially those that are trying to be sneaky. So there's extra reward or personal reward for developing skills in terms of sneaking around other players rather than simply being sneaky. Now you have to actually contend with digging or dealing with all of these monsters you could encounter should you be digging through blocks and trying to take a long approach. There's lots of crevices monsters can spawn in as well, but there's also crevices that can provide protection and safety for players should they choose. I've also made sure that there's a lot of flammable and vision obscuring jungle trees here that offer, again, extra protection, extra opportunities to climb, potentially something to set on fire because we all like doing that. And it also comes equipped with lava pools, like I mentioned, and ice blocks. And these ice blocks can be strategically melted in order to knock players and mobs off of the map as a well, honestly, an effective strategy in dealing with players that are trying to kill you. I've also created 4 pyramid type things, not in a symmetrical pattern or anything, but they do exist, and I thought that should players not really enjoy the general PvP piece, they would be able to play a modified version of Capture the Flag, and they could form teams and have a strategic, competitive game that way. It might be something that I would pursue with the students on specific days. I also recognize that given the fact that very little of this island has a high blast resistance, much of this is destructible and likely really, really difficult to actually replace. So what I've done is tried to sew in some of these obsidian blocks. No matter where you are, you should have some exposure to them. And this is going to allow students to have a little bit of personal agency in terms of, and co-design, I should say, in terms of building a meaningful PvP experience. Once this map is truly blown up, students that really want to participate in this have a reason to modify and build effective PvP physical layouts. And I figured Obsidian was probably the best choice since it gives you something to anchor dirt and stone blocks and cobblestone blocks off of. This also means that I could have kept the battlefield quite organic, quite vanilla Minecraft, and highly manipulatable due to anybody who's got meaningful skills in Minecraft to begin with. So it rewards understanding game principles for every student that does want to participate here. I think it also adds that pleasant frustration factor in the form of intensity, since again there's mobs and hazards and different strategies that could take place when you're trying to defeat people in a very up and down level combat, or very up and down level map. And players that fall off the island, again, are not given an easy way to get back up. At least they haven't died. They still have an opportunity. They just have to either build their way back up, or they have to find their way back into the town and go back to the teleporter, which in a game like Capture the Flag, that would create a lot of disruption in the enemy team, or in your team rather. And furthermore, any players that die, they respawn in their last respawn point, which means they have to re-gear and they have to teleport back, and that means it becomes, there's a reward for playing the vanilla Minecraft game in the sense that you can actually participate participate in combat based on the resources that you gather and farm. And yeah, I guess that's it. This is the world that I intend to have my students try interacting with, starting next February when I get my prep block and don't feel like I'm going to burn out just by having an additional club. And I'm hoping that adhering to these principles makes it a social hit within the school and helps foster a meaningful sense of community and social skill building, because I know that a lot of teens really need that. They need something to connect with, and I hope that this will be a valuable experience. So thanks for your time.